When I first saw the film, I didn't see it on the opening days. I saw it many years later after the replays. But I never thought about it in color until recently. It was so well done in black and white. I think they'll put out probably both versions for those who prefer a black and white film. But many young people today, they won't even look at a film unless it's in color. So I think you'll pacify both audience, and the colorization of this spectacular film that has long been forgotten. BYU put out Max Steiner's score. They restored it. They put it out recently on CDs. And I understand John Morgan and William Stromberg are going to restore Max Steiner's old score with a 100-piece orchestra in Moscow. So we're looking forward to this. I think it'll bring She to the attention of more people today than ever before, particularly if it's in color.
Well, we met Ray originally to talk about putting some of his own movies in color. The classic 20 Million Miles to Earth, and a number of his other films. And he came to us and said, hey, I have some personal favorite movies from the 1930s where I know the original directors and producers wanted to do them in color, and do you think we could put these in color? And these were movies such as She by Marion C. Cooper and Things to Come. Fantastic movies, but could really be boosted by adding color to them. And so we said, absolutely, Ray, and that started the project.
Since we're working with somebody else's creation, I really want to maintain the integrity of the original design. And that's where I can take clues from, little minute objects in the background, maybe little statues that I know should be a certain color because I've seen them, dishware, paintings on the wall, the subjects of the paintings, if it's a floral, if it's a landscape, you kind of know the feel of that room and how it should be designed. And costume designing is easy. I mean, there's just tons of reference on 40s styles, 50s styles, 30s, and the colors that were popular back then.
There's a big technical advance in colorization today, and I think Legend films have advanced it enormously. The early color of maybe 10, 15 years ago, where they tried to colorize black and white films, I remember seeing Mighty Joe Young and King Kong. Unfortunately, the greens were all the same. It lost all that wonderful doré look of perspective of going back in the jungle, because the greens were almost the same color in the foreground as in the background. And a lot of it gave away the matte shots. So many matte shots were in Kong and in Mighty Joe Young, and it made them look flat. It made them look like what they are, matte shots. So I think this new colorization process can have such a wonderful variety of densities and depth that you're able to produce this doré effect of looking back into the picture with perspective, aerial perspective.
When people think of high definition and film resolution, they usually think about how big the screen is. The screen behind me is a 42-inch high definition screen, but that really doesn't provide the true quality factor. What's more important, really, is the depth of color, the depth in grayscale. And that's transferred into a contrast ratio. What Legend Films does is produces colorized film at a contrast ratio that's really higher than anything that you can get in high definition. We're actually producing colorization with 64,000 levels of gray. In the old days, we used to use 256 levels of gray, so we're 250 times the resolution that we were back in the early 90s.
When we were designing the movie, the actual design was pretty set. It had a lot of Egyptian influence, Mayan influence, Art Deco influence, so we were kind of reined in that aspect to keep those kind of colors traditional. So Ray took that to the next step, and we just tried to accomplish the mood that was going on in the scene, the excitement, the drama, and he knew just the right way to, you know, lessen the colors in the background to bring the characters out in the foreground.
Yeah, Ray came down into our office here at Legend Films and sat for hours behind the computer with our creative director, Rosemary, and the two of them created the look and feel for what you see on the screen for She. Yeah, Ray knew. I mean, Ray would sit in front of a scene and he'd look at glaciers and he'd want to put a little more blue in one part or a little more white or a little more highlight, a little more shadow, changing the colors, and he had a real vision for what he wanted each scene to look like. Every costume, every character, it was like he knew what the color should be without even seeing the color. He just saw the black and white, had a vision in his head for what the color should be, and he worked to put it on screen.
As a technologist and having been in colorization for 20 years, having dealt with the critics in the early 90s, and today winning acceptance for the technology because of the higher standard of quality that we can produce, it's very satisfying. But probably the pinnacle of my career in colorization is winning the endorsement of Ray Harryhausen. I don't think anyone could ask for a better endorsement. After all, you have people like Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, and George Lucas, who really attribute a lot of their success to Ray. And I think that is very, very significant to everybody at Legend Films, and in particular me.
That these would stand out with reds and greens.
The spirit in that man, he's like a 12-year-old boy. You know, his imagination and his enthusiasm was wonderful, and everybody picked up on it. He was so excited to bring color to these movies. He thought it would bring these old classic works to a new generation.
He felt that these movies, using this technology, could now look like they were actually shot in color.
Kill them.
So I'm looking forward to seeing this final colorization process, which I have high hopes for, and I think it'll give them, as I said before, a new life of their own.